Hi, I'm Valerie Encina. I'm Breaking Defense's industry and congressional reporter, and I'm here with Senator Deb Fischer of Nebraska. Senator Fischer is well known in the defense community. She's on the Senate Armed Services Committee. She's a member of the Senate Defense Appropriations Committee. We're very lucky to have you here today. Senator, I wanted to start off with the NDAA. There's a rumor kind of making its way around the forum that it is very, very close to dropping. What can you tell us about timing and about what to expect out of that bill?
Well, I hope that we've come to an agreement on it. It's important to be able to get it out so we can get it done by the end of the year. Obviously, the committee, we did our work early. We were able to have a really good product that we sent to the floor. And then we ran into the Schumer obstacle on the floor, and so we weren't able to get it passed. But it's important that we get it done now. I feel good about it. As I said, the Senate had a great product out there, and I know that our folks on the conference committee have worked really hard to make sure that all our good things are going to be in it.
Is there anything that you can say about where the top line ended up? The Senate had a much larger top line than the House, which kind of constricted itself to the Fiscal Responsibility Act limits.
We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Obviously, that information's being held pretty closely.
Okay. Switching gears just a little bit. Earlier this week, you had a visit from President Trump's pick for Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. I was just wondering if you could tell me how that visit went, and did you hear what you needed to from him to secure your confirmation vote?
Yeah, we had a really good conversation. He came in Tuesday morning. We had a long talk. I asked him what his vision was for the department, what he hoped to focus on there. And then I first shared my priorities with him, the important things that I focus on Armed Services Committee, and things I focus on for the state of Nebraska as well that deal with our armed services and defense. As I said, it was a great conversation. Look forward to having a hearing with him, open hearing. I think that's extremely important so that the people of this country have that transparency. They get to see the questions we ask. They get to see nominees answer to those questions. And then the committee has to take a public vote. That's extremely important that our constituents see that.
Are you ready to say where you're going to fall on that vote quite yet?
You know, we'll see how the hearing goes, but as I said, we had a great conversation.
I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the issues that I know are very near and dear to your heart, first among them being nuclear modernization. What are you expecting from the Trump administration on this topic? Are you expecting that they're just going to kind of follow what they did in the previous Trump administration, or do you think there might be new wrinkles to be looked at?
President Trump has always been supportive of the defense of this nation and national security. He's been supportive in the past on our modernization programs that we have for the triad. He fully understands the needs that we have there to make sure that we have a Sentinel program move forward, that the Columbia class keeps on schedule, that our bombers keep on schedule as well. So I just look forward to being able to work with him again and make sure that we do stay on that schedule. We all know that our triad is the bedrock of our security as a nation, and it provides security for our allies as too. So it means that the world's a safer place when the United States is able to lead on that. So I look forward to working with him.
Great. I wanted to ask about a topic that came up in the panel that you were just on, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency that's being started up with Elon Musk at the helm. You've been broadly complimentary about DOGE, but when you were asked about, should DOGE be looking at the Pentagon, you kind of said, hey, that's our job as Congress. So from your perspective, let's drill down a little bit. What should that relationship between Congress and DOGE look like when it comes to the Pentagon? Where can they be helpful, and who should be sending the agenda? Is that really Haskell Sass's job to be doing?
It is always a good thing when an administration works with Congress. So I'm excited to be able to work with DOGE on the issues before us. but we have to be able to have, I think, a full understanding on what's involved. So when I said, that's our job to do that, and it's because of all, obviously, the classified briefings that we participate in, to be able to have the information, to understand the threats, to really understand what the needs are for this country to provide for our defense. So I, once again, just look forward to working with the administration on that. I think there's ways we can find efficiencies, but I also will push really hard to make sure that we continue with programs that we know work, that we know are necessary to defend this country.
I also wanted to ask about Ukraine, a topic that also came up in the panel. You were direct in some of the ways that you talked about ways that the Biden administration probably could have done better in Ukraine from your perspective. What do you want to see from the Trump administration when it comes to Ukraine?
We have to, first of all, have an end game, which we haven't had when it comes to Ukraine. At least it hasn't been articulated well to the American people. And I think that's why we're kind of seeing that war weariness that's out there. The United States and Russia signed an agreement in the mid-90s with Ukraine, the Budapest Memorandum, that if Ukraine would give up their nuclear weapons, which they were the third largest holder of nuclear weapons in the world at the time, if they would give those up, Russia and the United States guaranteed their sovereignty. Well, that was broken when Russia invaded in 2014. I don't know how many people understand that or remember it happening. So we do have a commitment to Ukraine. But we also have a commitment to the people of this country, and we need to be transparent about our support for Ukraine. We need to be better communicators on why we're involved, whether it's due to that agreement back in the 90s or just the realization of who Russia is today and what their brazenness can cost us in the future. I support us sending weapons to Ukraine. I think they should have had what they needed earlier. That was my response to Congressman Smith on that when I talked about the administration not getting the what they requested to them earlier, because I think that could have brought closure at a much sooner point than we're seeing now.
Right. One final question for you. In your capacity as a defense appropriator, I wanted to ask, since we're rolling up to the end of the current continuing resolution, and it looks like we're probably going to have another one, what would you like to see out of that, and what shape do you think that should take in order to best enable defense?
I'm an appropriator, not on the defense subcommittee, but I'm on appropriations committee. I think it's just being able to address the needs that we have and set the priorities on what they should be. You always hear about parity, and as Republicans, we want to make sure that we have a strong defense, that we're able to provide the resources that our country needs to defend itself and provide security around the world. Without the parity that our folks on the other side of the aisle look at for other programs. Those were my comments. We have to set priorities of government, and the first priority is the national defense of this country. So of course, that's where our resources should be going.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us.
Thank you.